What's going on, traders? Welcome back to another live stream. Happy Thursday, August 28th. Let's get after it, man. Before we jump onto the charts, make sure you view us on the screen real quick. Trading's risky. Most traders do lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. Make sure you do your own research, make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even if funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like Top 1 Futures, code RDF, Bookmap, and others. Appreciate you guys hopping on. Let's get into it, man. Let's see what we got going on here. Ooh, markets are popping to the upside. Good morning, chat. What's up, Wolf? What's up, Alan? What's happening, my brother? What's up, Dwayne? What's going on, guys? I forgot the link in the chat. Let me get this rolling. Appreciate you guys hopping on. What's up, YouTube? What's up, Kick? What's up, X? Looks like we're pretty light. You guys are still waking up, or everybody just said I had enough for these markets after yesterday, and said we're done. Hey, NQ is flying. NQ's flying. We'll take a look at NQ in just a minute here. Take a look at NQ just a minute here. All right. Yeah, crazy movement out of these markets. Absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. Huge candle print for NVIDIA yesterday. Very, very bearish, even on NQ. Let's take a look at it. Insane candle print. And then, wow, yeah, shot out of a rocket today. Wow. 1,000-tick candle, about 250 points. And now just absolutely, well, these are very old markings. Very old markings. Just taking a look here. Absolutely blasting to the upside here on NQ. Wow, man. What a movement. What a movement. All right. Let's stay focused up. Let's hop over to ES, which we're going to be taking a look at this morning. As always, same thing, different day. We got the daily chart loaded up here on Project X. We got a 7-pack of straight to sim funded pro accounts, the same 150Ks that I've been working my way towards. Back and forth, really. I'll say just really back and forth in these bad boys, but that's part of the game, man. Like I talked about earlier this year and in Discord quite a bit. My goal is live. My goal is to get moved live with these firms. I don't want to play the prop game. I don't want to sim farm. I've got live accounts. I'm happy to be well funded, and I'd like to challenge myself to trade well enough to build a buffer, get moved live. I got a 50K that's coming up on coming to the point where I'm past the point of being eligible to take a payout that I'm not going to take, just to keep building it. And I'd like to get kicked from 150K. So we'll see. But anyway, let's start talking about prop firm strategy before we talked about the markets. Bullish, man. Very bullish. Obviously, we had this move 2 days ago, right? Really big push to the downside, closed with a long wick to the downside. Doji looking candle from yesterday. Crazy movement after the bell. Really difficult to work with stuff all day. I'll talk about my trade, the one short that I ran all dang day, and then closed near break even, small loss, $140. Oh, man, coming right back in. Did NASDAQ die? Oh, man. Guys, I'd be cautious. This is, oh, yeah, NASDAQ coming right back in. Not as much, but 50 points. Yeah, guys, this is volatile. This is really volatile, guys. Sorry to react that way. I didn't see what was happening on the 15-minute chart. This is gnarly. This is pretty gnarly. We got some movement out of this market. I'd be cautious if you're trading off the open here. We're 6 minutes into NYSE open. Obviously, the markets kicked themselves into gear after some NVIDIA earnings yesterday. We had 8:30 news today. We'll talk about what we got on the board, but I would exercise caution, man. If you love volatility, if you love when the markets are moving, you start getting heavy, you trade momentum, do your thing. Do not let anybody tell you that you can't trade news, you can't trade momentum. Do your thing. Most traders don't do that, and they don't do well with it. If that's not your thing, don't be enticed just because the market's moving or get involved too quickly. You can easily get cooked right off an open like this. So I'd be cautious here. I want to see how this opens up. It was a pop to the upside, and based on what we've been doing, which is just the blatant opposite of what should happen, like I wouldn't be surprised if this just turns right back in. on both of these and comes right back down. But before we do that, very bullish overall on the daily time frame, right? Pushing all-time highs. This is coming off of our all-time high right here, right? We can put another line here, and I see you guys chatting it up. We'll be talking in just a minute. We got a wild open here, just getting some chart mark up. What is this? The August 15th high. Let's put that. We almost tapped that. That's at 65.08 and 3/4. We just traded up to 68.08 and a half here in ES. So looking at the 15-minute chart yesterday, and the day before, honestly, buys off of VWAP would have worked all week. It's really hard to dispute VWAP. There's a reason it's on my chart. I don't use it 100%, objectively. I don't do anything 100% objectively. We'll talk about that later. But this thing just could not break VWAP. We had heavy sellers would step in, rip this thing back down to the downside, and then just continue to bounce. So I actually ended up getting out right after the close. I held a short all damn day. Tempted me multiple times, and we'll kind of go back through that trade because I think it could be a good example of sticking to your guns, sticking to your strategy, not doing something stupid, even though this one was really trying me yesterday. Insane print on NVIDIA earnings and whatever else played into this. I'm not the fundamental guy. I really don't care. But that put the high and the low in for the day. Absolutely insane volatility. We started to trend lower after the open, and then very shortly after that, after session changeover, 2 hours in, we pushed off to the upside. Very aggressive push off to the upside. Continued it all the way through London Open. Sold back off to VWAP, and we really have another similar just holding session VWAP to the upside here. Now off the open, looking bullish into the open. Again, just analyzing the 15-minute chart because we got a lot of movement, and I'm not some time frame purist. I don't care about hopping out to a wider time frame. When we got a lot of movement, the 1-minute chart, it looks like the 15-second chart on another day, right? The 15-minute chart can start looking like the 1 minute, the 5 minute when we start moving. But so far, popped to the upside, sold back off a little bit. Now we're chopping right back around the 6,500 level. So let's go ahead and get ready to line this up side by side the way I've been running the 15-minute and the 1 minute. Just want to make sure my levels are marked correctly. We had some movement coming right into the open, and I think my overnight high might be off. Let's just take a look. I mark overnight high on the 1-minute chart and the 15-minute chart, the area that price trades before NYSE open. So right up until 9:30 a.m. Where's our 9:30 open? Right there. Yep, we're good. There's our overnight high at 65.06 and 3/4. Wow. So yeah, so really just a really strong market, man. When we overall, the way that I'm reading this is sellers just cannot take this thing lower. They could not take it lower on Tuesday. Just a drift higher again. We tried here right in pre-market and then cracked VWAP and could not get down below it. Huge bearish craziness and then just immediate strength back up to the upside. I wouldn't be surprised if by the time everybody gets bullish on this, we sell off, like I said today, because that's just kind of the classic opposite of what really not should be happening, right? Because the market's going to do whatever it's supposed to do. But I wouldn't be surprised that right about the time everybody stops hitting the sell button, me included, we start selling off. But so far, bullish, very bullish, holding VWAP here. Immediate pop off the open and then came right back down in, at least here on ES. You guys had me check NASDAQ, and now I'm really enticed. Huge pop. This is all old markings, so none of this is correct. Yeah, really, really bullish on NASDAQ as well. Similar structure, right? Pop at the open, just pretty damn aggressive. Didn't really turn right back in. Let's just take a look at YM since we went around the horn here. Oh, classic YM. Complete opposite. YM absolutely fell out of bed. Absolute opposite. 9:30 candle opens up. How many points to the downside? Opens up 60 points to the downside. Here we are, 130 points in Dow Jones to the downside here. Classic, just not on the same page at all. It's so funny. Dow lives in its own world, man. Absolutely lives in its own world. Anyway, all right, let's see what you guys are thinking in the chat. What's going on? Appreciate you hopping in. So I'm staying patient. Long story short, I'm staying patient. You guys know I've been taking some wider hold trades. You know, we continue this. I'm gonna look to long it. This could be an entry where you say long off of VWAP, man. Send it. You're not gonna get a better chance, right? If you are looking like, you know, this is going to break out, continue all-time highs, we're just going to go rip 100 points, you know, now's your opportunity to send it, right? Bulls showed that we wanted to push higher. We cracked yesterday's high. We cracked overnight high. We almost cracked the high from, you know, over 10 days ago, the all-time high, right? I believe that's all-time high here in ES, right? So I just marked up. Sorry, guys. Let me do it again. Yeah. If your thought is we're ready to rip, you know, do your thing. You know, wide stop loss. Maybe you're not going to wait for any type of pullback down and run it. You know, I think there's opportunity for that in a market like this where you can have a really high risk to reward, right? And, you know, maybe you are wrong. We turn and sell off. You have to get wicked out a couple times. But you're just looking for buys, you know, around the area of high volume as soon as we start to move. It's not my play. My play is not to buy or sell right off the open, even in really strong or really weak markets. It's just, I don't find good consistency doing that. But I will acknowledge this thing could just take off, right? We showed a lot of strength overnight. We showed strength yesterday, the day before. We showed strength right off the open. We're pulling back to VWAP without really breaking down. You know, this could be your entry. Not a super strong CVD, but we do have levels up above that we could go and grab. It's not my play. I think we could turn down and just, it's a pump up the market and then rip everybody's face off and then maybe continue. Kind of those crazy wick down moves that we saw yesterday, or just aggressive sell-offs because they're not really a wick on the low time frames. And then a recovery. Like I think we could easily see something like that today. So to frame trades on this, I'm just going to stay flexible for the time being. I don't really want to pick out any levels just yet. If we start to pull back down on this thing, the area really that I'd be looking is around those 485s, 480s. Why? Just key level of structure from yesterday, right? And from the overnight session. We've tested it multiple times. We hung out here in pre-market yesterday. It was tested multiple times as support as we pushed to the upside. We broke above it, pulled back down, tested it. I think this could come into play today, and it might be a level that we pull all the way back down, sweep, and then potentially find buyers. So could mark this just as a discretionary level. Just to give us some reference as we're looking at the 1 minute. I could see that coming into play. I could see overnight. Sorry, I'm zooming out even more here on the 15 minute. Let me show you what I'm looking at. Yeah, I'm gonna draw a wide zone on this chart. I'm gonna draw a real wide zone off the 15 minute. I think that could be an interesting spot to look. The 80s to the 85s. We come down lower than that. You know, we really start breaking down lower than that. Overnight low, right? This area that was tested multiple times as well. Clean level of structure, area of high volume. You can see it zoomed out with the visible range volume profile. Very basic stuff that I'm utilizing. And then yesterday's low, another key level if we really aggressively sell off. I'm going to wait to see what happens. Again, the way this market's been moving and just how difficult it has seemed to be, and that's just a maybe not a great way to just discuss pattern recognition, which is price action and market structure that I'm using. It just seems to go into, I heard people describe it as seek and destroy mode. Like it just goes into insane, do the opposite of everything and then come right back. So an insane sell-off after all this strength, just a wild, quick, like 30, 40 points to the downside and then a recovery. I don't think anything's off the table in this market. I really don't. So I'm trying to stay flexible, take into consideration the high time frame trend, the strength of the market, but not be so anxious to try to jump in with tight stops anywhere before I let the market start to show its hand. So here we are back down through VWAP, back down to prior week high. putting lows of the session in right now. NYSE session, about 15 points, 14 and a quarter points off the highs. Let's see what we get down here. Interested to see if we start to sell off. Interested to see what happens down here. We got some liquidity at 64.80 now, 210 on the book. That's going to be pretty interesting to the downside. So waiting patient today. We got movement. I think we could start to see some action here. So let's see. See what we got. But appreciate you guys hopping on. What is up? Yeah, NQ flying. Yeah, we looked at that one. Did NQ sell off? For those of you that are watching NQ. NQ shooting, YM tanking, ES going to chop like hell. Yeah, so far great analysis, Wolf. What's up, Scott? How we doing, my man? At home. Nice. Glad to hear that. Yeah, ES coming lower. Ralph, what's up? JB, good morning. Crazy day already. Yeah, man. NQ waiting for the big reversal. Good morning. Good morning, Aaron. What's up? Scott got the Kraken commercial. Let's see. Proud Young. What's up? Good morning, guys. Have a blessed day. Thank you, my G. Real deal for what you do. Thank you, man. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys. I really do. Loving new folks in here. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, man. What's up? What's up? If you're in the chat, if you're hanging on stream, we got 35 people on YouTube. We got a bunch on Kick. We always have a bunch on X, but that's they're more of just the watch crowd. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know what you're thinking. What are you looking at? Feel free. Trading questions. I do want to yap about, at some point today, someone remind me, algos, coding bots, coding EAs, 100% objective rules-based strategies. I wanted to yap about that. We were talking about it in Discord, and I think it makes for good conversation. I love to share my my thoughts on things like that, what I've seen over the years. Got some guys in my chat. Let's see, Mantis who shares some opinions. I'm looking at my Discord. If you guys are not in my Discord, feel free. Sometimes I read that because you guys during the day are calling out stuff. We've had more chatter in there, which is awesome. Just everybody kind of talking what they're doing. I hopped in voice chat yesterday, talked about my trade as it was playing out after the live. So we're doing more and more in Discord, man. More than happy to have you guys in. Kobe Clark, what's up? David, what's up? On Kick, appreciate you guys hopping on. You want to hop in the free Discord, there it is. If you're on X, hop on YouTube, hop on Kick. Link is in my bio. Mantis calling out a bullish day. He's saying very high probability that this is going to be a bullish day and that we close the end of the day near the highs, looking at NASDAQ. Interesting. Brian got a limit order set as we come down in, what is this, Dow? Yep, Brian's looking to buy off of, looks like a demand zone down there near prior day low. That's Brian's play. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Oh, man. Here we go. Let's see. Yeah, market's moving, guys. Be cautious. I'm looking long on this, but this is what I was cautious of. I think this could be an opportunity down here. I really do. I really do. I just don't know if this is going to rip everyone's face off today. In the ever so classic US indice move, again, you trade for long enough and you start to expect these things where, like I said, that there's an opportunity right off the open that we just rip, right? There's some days where it's strong, we're showing so much strength, and we're just gonna take off. I am sorry if you got long up here, man. That is just why I do not buy breakouts in the first couple minutes of the session. It's not my play. I'm absolutely not shorting something like this, right? It's on a sweep of prior day high, overnight high, and a test of a key level. On another day, maybe, not with just absolute so much strength and shorting, all-time highs right off the open. I like this long. We got a level at 80 and some more at 75. I think we got a chance to come down towards overnight low. I really do. But this is not a bad buying opportunity. If we're not going to turn this into an absolute bearish day and really rip everybody's face off, which we might, we could absolutely take everybody out up here, right? A lot of sellers stepping in off these all-time high levels. If we're not going to do that, I think this could generate a really interesting spot to look long. And that's going to be my first play. I'm probably going to do it with micros and give myself 2 shots today. Starting to eyeball this one, guys. Starting to eyeball this. Yeah, we would. What would I need to see though? Too much down here. Way too much down here. I need to see this taken out. This has been on the book all morning. 200 lots. Since before NYSE opened. That's a nice key level that we got very close to here. Where I have my zone marked, I'd like to see at least a sweep down into the 480s. If we started to get a really aggressive reaction off of that, I would consider it. The 75s and below are not terribly thin, man. So we could keep going. But maybe it's even a wick down to the 75s. But I'm looking at these 480s where I marked that zone, right? Off the 15-minute charts, lining up with Bookmap. For a potential aggressive long. We got a decent amount of volatility. I won't say, it's insane. But we got a decent amount of volatility relative to what we've seen, past couple days, past couple opens. We're moving. I would look to size down on this, utilize micros, and also size down just in my general risk. Maybe, you guys see me, I'm a little bit flexible around that $500 to $1,000 risk per trade, but I would look to run this one pretty wide because I do think we could dip even lower, and I would want a nice wide stop loss on this and look to catch a move that would really continue to run and turn this back into a bullish day. So I'm not going to look to enter stupid aggressively right off the bat. I think Brian could catch a really aggressive, nice buy with that. I'm not going to go limit buy on this. That's not going to be my play here. Nice JB in the Discord sharing a nice short. He got short ES as we started to break down. Very nice. Very nice. Looking at the 480s. Look at that. He's got his take profit right at the 480s. Beautiful, man. Because that's where I'm looking at a key spot. So I've got somebody else seeing the same stuff. So let's see. Let's see if the magic zone holds it up. I don't think so. I think we come lower. I'm looking for this right here. Or potentially around that overnight low. It's pretty heavy selling pressure to the downside. Let's see. Brian C with the bid in Discord. Yep. Jess, I think we're testing Beta Team Bear. 10 a.m. Orange Folder News coming up. Ooh. Didn't even look at it, Ralph. Who said that? Ralph, thank you. 5 minutes to Orange Folder News. Thank you. Good heads up, Ralph. I did have this one sitting here, but didn't even get a chance to go through. It was just too enticed by the market moving. Got to be cautious of that. About 4.5 minutes from now, guys, we do have Orange Folder News coming up. That could be interesting. Definitely could be interesting. Short from 64.94 and a quarter will add if we break below 85. Nice. Can you explain why you marked the 85 to 81 zone down there? KP23. Go ahead. Just scroll back since you're on YouTube. You can watch. Scroll back. Zoom out a little bit. I've only been on here for 27 minutes. Maybe, let's see. Scroll back about how long ago? 10 minutes maybe? I was marking that zone. You'll find that. This way I don't have to do the whole thing again and take up too much time. But I marked that, explained why I marked that, while I was on here. And I also just show you guys Bookmap that is lining up with this level right here. Key area of liquidity down here. If we obviously, let's go back in time, historical, take a look as we start to come down. Key area of liquidity at the 80s, which is actually below my zone. But take a look and you'll go back through and you'll see why I marked a discretionary level, which is all that is, right? Based on volume, market structure, price action, which I kind of lump under the same umbrella. Good question. Good morning, Amit. What's up? Kevin, I could see it going to previous day low. Yeah, I could see it too. Hey, Wolfman, all good. Dealing with summer flu, but good. Sorry to hear it, Ralph. Here we go to the 80s. Oh, man. This market, man. This market. Entertaining, though. Really, really entertaining. I'm watching this for a long. I don't want to dive in before orange folder news, but I'm looking at this long, guys. I think this could be an interesting level. We came right down. We did not fill that the 80s yet. This is sitting on the book. For those of you that watch order flow, watch a Dom, I approach this in a very simplistic pattern recognition way. I really don't utilize all of the different narratives that can be formed around what's happening and why. I look at it just based on pattern recognition. I would like to see this fill. Potentially even the 75s. They don't always, right? We got right there, and maybe we're not going to have the selling pressure to go and come through that. If we do, it could get really dicey to the downside, so it's not a bad spot to look for a potential long right above it. If I'm targeting these areas, I front run them, right? Like if I was short, like the gentleman in Discord, I would front run this by a point or two, right? On a day like today, on the off chance that we just don't fill this. Today, I think we do. And if I'm looking long, I'd like to see that get taken out first, and then a reaction to back up to the upside. But we got 2 minutes to orange folder news, guys. I'm looking potentially long in this market around this level. If we continue lower here, I'm dead wrong, and it's lookout below, man. This is definitely showing some weakness, but I'm looking for potentially this higher time frame trend to prevail. What we saw, over the last couple days into pre-market today to follow through after a very aggressive, frustrating sell-off, right? To take everybody out that was getting long at any point so far, and maybe even a little bit further down. And then we get a nice recovery, or at least even a aggressive bounce back up to VWAP, back towards the 6,500s that we love to keep trading. But not right before red folder news. So if we rock it or dump, I am acknowledging I'm not putting risk on, right? The down, there's always it's a double-edged sword for everything, right? Market's about to move probably a little bit. I'm not in it, right? So I can't catch anything, but I'm risk off. So I'm going to wait to see what happens here. Maybe we get a wake down to the 75s and then an immediate pull back up. I would look at long in it. I'm going to look to trade quickly after this red folder news if it does, orange folder news if it does what I'd like it to do. So let's see. Here we go, guys. About 10 seconds. Again, orange folder. I said red folder. Orange folder is not too crazy. Shouldn't be too crazy. Let's see. Here's the print. 10 seconds in. JB took profit at 82. There you go, brother. That's my man. Beautiful trade. Very nice. 64.81 was yesterday's value area low. Nice. There you go. Another confluence there, Ralph. Beautiful. I do run on my TradingView chart. I do run one additional tool that is not available here in Project X. I used to mark it, but in lieu of marking up my TradingView chart, which I watch on my phone sometimes and just when I'm running around, what I set alerts on, I don't mark all of the levels. There is an indicator, Spaceman BTC or something, that can like mark a whole lot of levels for you. That gets a little bit dicey, but I will run session volume profile or session volume profile HD. That'll give me volume profiles throughout the day in lieu of marking up individual days every day with my just regular objective levels. I will do that. It also gives me a readout, right, of where prior days high and low is when I look at a 15-minute chart because that's overlaid. So just as a thought process, I think that can be helpful if you use volume profiles. Another very helpful, easy to use tool. If it was available in here, I don't know that I would use it because, again, I take my time. I like to mark overnight high and low, prior day high and low manually. Are we going to bounce here? Yes, my brother. Are we going to bounce here? Finding some buyers, man. We didn't clean out the 80s. We got right here. That's aggressive. That's pretty aggressive. I'm going to wait on this, guys. I'm going to wait on this. I think we could start to bounce here, though. I'm going to wait on this. I'd love one more dip and then a continuation of the upside. On another day, if that liquidity is taken out, I'm long. But here's the deal. Like you've seen me do all week, I wait patiently. I wait patiently for everything that I need to see to line up, right? I was talking about this with a trader last night who was talking about another trader that, discussing the same thing. We have basic entry criteria, even if it's discretionary, which for me it is, right? If I don't have everything lining up for the long or the short or the trade, I don't get long or short, right? Because if I take a loss, I'm going to go, well, I didn't wait for that thing, and look at what it did. It came right back down through the 75s before continuing to the upside, and I'd be frustrated that I didn't follow my system. I didn't apply some consistency. So it's not that I know I'm going to be right or wrong on the next trade. I have no idea what the market's going to do next. Nobody does. Anybody that tells you they do on the individual next trade is either an idiot, inexperienced, or they're just absolutely full of crap. But I have an idea, a rough idea, of what will happen over a large sample size based on the tools that I use through basic pattern recognition and what tends to repeat itself. Rough idea. So I've got to wait for what I need to see happen on the chart in order to do something. If I don't wait for that, I'm just randomly entering and exiting with no consistency and hoping that I'm correct on the next trade, which is not a good way to trade. So as we came lower here, I need those 80s to be taken, maybe even the 75s, before I can look long, because strong trend to the upside, overall market structure, price action on higher time frames continuing to push highs, overall bullish. Today, push to the upside, selling back off, taking out some liquidity down here maybe, and finding buyers. That 480 is a problem for me. The 240 lots down there, and now the 120 at 64.75. I think there's a really high likelihood that we take that out and then potentially bounce. But we could continue lower from there either. But it's an if-then statement as we continue to go. I want to see us come through the 80s at least. Don't have to hit the 75s. And then start to do what we just did, which was find some buyers, show price action, market structure, pushing back up to the upside to look long on this. Wide stop, wide take profit, back up past VWAP, back towards the 6,500s. If we just bounce here and we rip through all-time highs, it's not a missed trade for me, right? Would I have liked to be in and take a win? Of course. But that doesn't get journaled as a missed trade. It gets journaled as, hey, A+ execution. Now let's review what you did in a large sample size. Maybe when I come back and I review, I say, okay, look at how many times that little last level of liquidity that you were waiting for today at the 64.80s wasn't filled and we bounced. Okay, well then maybe I adjust in a large sample size of trades. But you got to come to the table to do something with some consistency day in and day out. Otherwise, you're going to do great, you're going to do poorly, you're going to have no idea why you did great, no idea why you did poorly. Got some buyers stepping in right there. A little bit of volatility right there. Let's see. So that's my long rant. Nice. We got Mantis getting long. Looking at some guys in Discord. Very nice. JB trailed out. Very nice. Very, very nice. Dwayne went long. NQ at 23, 574. Nice. Yeah, we could find buyers here, man. That was a nice push to the upside. We had a jump in CVD. Looking strong, man. Looking strong. Let's see. Yeah, that was an interesting jump right there. Interesting jump. We were coming back down. Looked like we wanted to go do exactly what I needed to see to get long, which would be sweep this low one more time and then come right back up. But this looks like it might be the push, man. Looks like it might be the push right off this level. Very quick wick back up on volume there. Buying pressure stepped right back in, and here we are getting driven higher right back towards VWAP, man. Close, man. Super, super close for a solid entry on this one, but I gotta wait. I gotta wait patiently, man. The market doesn't line up for me. I'm gonna take L's in these markets, right? They're very volatile. We're gonna have crazy back and forth movements. If I have to take an L, I want to know I waited for everything to line up. It's a beautiful trade, and then I take my L and I say, good game, market. I'll be back tomorrow. A+ execution. Jumping in long here before the 80s for me, personally, the way that I'm using Bookmap these days, not valid. Just not valid. But this looks very strong back through VWAP. Discretionary level holding up very, very nicely. We'll see. So we got a retest of VWAP here. Now what happens? Immediate selling pressure. Do we come right through VWAP back up to the 6,500s? I'm going to be stuck waiting for something else to happen today. Let's see, chat. Showing strength out of this zone, man. We go up and hit the 6,500s. This is gonna look like a continuation play here. Damn, close, but not it for me. Not yet. Wait patiently. That's all I know how to do. Wait for my setups to come. Be ready to roll as we're getting close, but doesn't line up. I don't get everything that I need to jump in. I wait until I do. I don't take a trade. If we and again, like I said, how do I adjust on that, right? As we go, I take a look in large sample sizes, right? And maybe I identify that I'm waiting a little bit too long, right? And I need to be quicker to enter. Maybe I'm entering too quickly and I need to wait a little bit longer, be a little bit more patient, right? Number of things. But let's see how we go from here. Market, man. Right back through VWAP. Do we run? I don't know. Don't know. We're fixing to find out. We come through VWAP. We start showing some strength here. The 6,500s, I think, are going to be a very interesting level to watch. This could be the pullback down and then just run for the hills. So if we start to get back above VWAP, maybe chop around and then start to find some buyers again, I could look at this thing long. It's going to be a different play. It's going to be a very different play. I'd love to see us come back down through these 80s. If we do it now, I got to wait even longer, man. This is now a different trade setup. We came all the way back up to, if we do that, we got some serious downtrend structure for him. We came all the way back up to VWAP, rejected there, and are now coming down lower. This is going to be interesting, guys. This is going to be interesting. Let's see. Let's see here. Ready? I'm going to throw the poll in chat. See what you guys think. Do you think next for ES, you think we're blasting towards, let's say, the 65.15s? Let's go equal distance all the way back up through the highs. The high is 65.08. Or you think we are coming all the way down towards prior day low, 65, let's say past overnight low, 65.70. Excuse me, 64.70. Always loving to hear your guys' thoughts. Let's see. Wolf says bear. Zach asked, my prediction is never wrong. Right is the right way. There you go. Scott. Red, green. Which way do we go, George? Oops. Order blah. Oh, yeah. Here we got a bunch of troll comments here from Wolf. Classic. Calling out my mentor. VWAP short. Don't buy the breakout. Don't buy the dip. Buy strength after the dip. Trying to learn from Brian Shannon. There you go, man. Yeah. Absolutely. I love that. I love that. Don't buy the breakout. Don't buy the dip. Buy the strength after the dip. You know, it is discretionary. There's some subjective interpretation to what exactly that means. But essentially, it's trying not to catch the falling knife on the way down, just buying into a falling market. Wait for some kind of reaction to try to buy the strength after that. I like that. I like that. But the VWAP has really been coming into play, man. Just the standard session VWAP here on ES is such an interesting tool to utilize. And buying and selling dips and pumps back up is a really interesting play. And then once we cross back through and get some confirmed closures above and below, looking for continuation past it, either to the upside or downside, really interesting play. Again, if you love trading VWAP or you want to learn more about VWAP, Brian Shannon, somebody called out the godfather of the anchored VWAP and or the ASFX boys. Austin Silver, Evan Dreyer, got to get his name right. Evan, my boy Evan. They're big on VWAP, and for good reason, man. I think it could be a very useful, simple tool to build an approach around, right? It's not all that you're going to do, I think. Using some price action, market structure, maybe volume, maybe order flow, the way that those guys do as well. But it can be really interesting to watch. Really interesting to watch. Forever Bear. I won't be a buy till the next crash. Even before the poll comes up, go Team Bear. Setup is on both daily and New York VWAP. There we go. Be the guy who threw the knife. ASFX lives and dies by the Shannon guy. Yeah. Listen, Brian Shannon's legit, man. His stuff is, in my humble opinion, right? Everybody can create a different opinion. He's very specific, focused on one tool, right? Which a lot of traders do. Simplify your stuff down, make it really, really raw. For me personally, price action and market structure is king, right? That's like price itself is king. If I could have nothing else, I want Japanese candlesticks, traditional Japanese candlesticks on my chart with a price and time axis. And then if I had to add something else in there next, I would take any volume tool. If it's VWAP, visible range volume profile, session volume profile, some volume tool. Traditional volume down on the bottom is useful, but not as useful to me in the way that I use it. Then, after that, I would take order flow, specifically bookmap. I don't think I would do nearly as well with just a traditional DOM. I'm too dumb for that, too slow. That's kind of the order of things for me. Here we go. Look at the rejection off of VWAP, man. Doesn't always work like this, right? Sometimes we chop at VWAP. We just disrespect it. It's like any other tool, right? In my humble opinion, anything can work sometimes, but nothing works all the time. It's just whatever you find confidence in, whatever your belief system and the way that you understand the market and that tool specifically, your time frame, your preferred instrument. Yeah, guys, I'm looking at this thing long, man. I mean, the bottom can fall out. We failed to get above VWAP. Sold directly back off, didn't come back up to the 6500s, 7.5 points off. We start to find buyers hammer into this, right? And then start to blast off higher. I'm looking at that like price wants to go higher. We had a chance to go lower. Sellers can't take it lower. We're not interested in probing for lower prices, whatever way you want to discuss price action and market structure. We didn't go lower, and now we're going higher, so I think we're going to continue going higher. That's the dumb guy way to do it. What's happening on the chart? I do think the 6500s could be a problem spot, and getting long down here to make it work for me, I'd be running a wide stop. I'd need to hold all the way through, and it would be a continuation play that we just go and run highs. This is developing interesting here, guys. It's developing into an interesting session structure. Rejection of VWAP here, now coming back down. Like the gentleman in chat was just saying, I don't like this as aggressively long, right? This was not a takeout of the 80s and allow me to get long down here to hold for a continuation up. If we come back lower on this is some serious downtrend structure. I'm still looking overall for a buy. Unless we just started to knife lower, in which case I'd say, all right, foot off the gas. We come back through this now, like I said, without taking out this liquidity down here. I could be interested long, kind of like what we're doing right now. Retesting this area of volume, right? Retesting these the top end of this structure here. This could be interesting, chat. This could be interesting. Let's see what you guys said in YouTube. Welcome, Scott. Can get you. Yeah, Anchor VWAP. We're talking Anchor VWAP. Currently reading Brian Shen's book, Anchor VWAP. Definitely recommend. Yep. Let's take a look. You guys said 64.70. Not by a very heavy margin, but majority of you voted in the poll to the downside. You guys are looking low. Yeah, man, this got really close to giving me what I needed. Really close, like I talked about. If you missed it earlier and you want me to explain, I can. Discretionary level that I marked on the chart with you guys here. Beautiful support found there. I use order flow in a very simple, stupid, simplistic way. And I would have really liked and needed, as we came lower, to see this level right here. The 64.80s get hit. It was a nice stack of liquidity here, over 200 on the book. Been sitting here since before market opened up. There was some more at 75s, but that getting taken out and then this type of reaction, I'm in long. Just did not get that today. And now we are coming back through VWAP. So there's a second option, second play, right? So we don't fill this. We come back up. We have more market generated information. We hit VWAP, sold back off. Now we're coming back up through. There's another long play here. It's just a different setup. So it's a more of a continuation, buying the strength after the dip, along with the higher time frame trend, looking for a break of this VWAP, or as we break VWAP, for continuation. I don't really like this as much because we got 6,500s right here. I think we could do this. Really, based on this structure, not taking out liquidity to the downside yet, I think we could do this. I'd be getting long in here with a stop loss somewhere down here, and my trade thesis is this, right? Which could absolutely play out. This is just not as beautiful as I'd like. So, long story short, I'm going to keep articulating what I'm watching here, guys. I'm no trade for the morning just yet. Wild volatility. Glad I kept myself out of doing anything crazy and getting long too quickly in here. Sold off, hit this level, almost gave me the long down here. Almost gave me the long, but I don't know that I'm ready to trust this move and just hang on for all-time highs from up here. I'd have to run it stupid wide. Which is not a terribly bad play on a micro chart. Kind of just eyeballing this, guys. I wouldn't do that, because then I'm going for for a 1-to-1. But that I think could absolutely happen. We could really start to find strength after this, after taking everybody out. I don't want to be out of a long until way down here, right? Where does your stop loss have to go? An invalidation point, when you no longer want to be long, right? If I still want to be long down here, why am I closing out of a long, right? That's kind of the thesis. And I think we could do this, right? Like I said, I think we could come up here, come back down. An invalidation point would be well below overnight low. And this just isn't a beautiful structure. Yeah, I'd rather something like this. 75s, if we get something like this, just to kind of frame this out. I'd like something like that for continuation. And then I'm just dead wrong if we start selling off for the day. Go for something like that. But I'm huffing and puffing because we could just keep going from here. So I'm not going to get long on this, guys, yet. I'm going to wait to see. Now that I have waited, I don't know that I'm going to give myself 2 shots. I'd probably give myself 1 shot, go heavier risk. Maybe it is on the mini chart. Or maybe micros if I need to, if I just need more flexibility. There's nothing wrong with that for me. But waiting and seeing. See. Let's see, chat. Yeah, I still like this long. We had a CVD's lining up for it as well. This is interesting, man. I'm not as enthusiastic about it. Just the way the structure formed, right? We have our patterns. We know what we look for. And it's always a little bit discouraging when you wait for your setup to come and it just doesn't present itself. It's part of trading. Even when the market's moving, the market's going to continue to move today. I need to apply some consistency. I think we all do, and I am nowadays on ES wide. I talked about this in Discord and having much better results widening out a little bit, heavier risk. wider stop loss, wider take profit, waiting even more patiently, less frequency of trades. And I could see it in my results after making very, very, very small adjustments. I wrote that on the week before, going 8-0 all week. This week, pretty choppy, but keeping myself alive as far as trading with you guys here goes. Was in a short all dang day yesterday. Ended up closing out for 140 times 7, negative 140 times 7, but easily could have been a nightmare if I was really tight. So for this trade, I would still look long. One thing that definitely lined up for me is CVD grew really heavy out of this zone. Even as we started to drift lower, we have actually an increasing CVD starting to get positive here. I still have levels down here that I'm looking at. Now, if we bust this, it could be a gnarly wick down. Could absolutely be a gnarly wick down. But I'm looking at this for continuation back up to the upside. I'm not as excited about it because I'm fighting VWAP, as the ASFX boys say. I'm getting long below VWAP, especially after a retest up here and then a continuation lower, which is just not as clean. But what I would be waiting for on this chart, on candlestick chart and this bookmap chart, would be to come back down through this low. And if we swept this low and started to find buyers come right back up really aggressively, I'm not going to get in down here. It's probably going to be 10 points higher. I wouldn't mind that long. Even if we swept the 75s or even lower and then started to bounce, wouldn't mind it that long. I would have got more aggressively long, meaning not really waiting for strength after the dip, buying really low in that move to the downside down here, because we didn't have this that happened first. Now I'm going to wait patiently for a long. We could take off from here. We could not do what I need. I'm flat. We come down lower. I'm going to wait for some strength after the dip, but we've been flirting with this level all morning now, and I want to see it taken out. It could hold. 75s could hold as well, and we could just start to push up from here. But if I have to take an L, it's going to be after another dip down to take everybody out that already got long back up towards VWAP here, and then some continuation. NASDAQ bookmap looking quite different here. Yeah, we'll see. Let's see. Hey, guys are back to about 50-50 on the up or down play. 56% of you calling for short towards 64 70s. The other call was back up towards the 65-15. So most of you have a short bias today. I could also see another thing happening here, guys. Which is against my trade idea, right? I could see this. We started to move up here. I think that would be a big movement out of the market, right? Maybe it would be we would have already seen something like that. If we got down below prior day low, just taking a look at what we have tomorrow for news. We don't have too much. We could see a gnarly rejection off these all-time highs. And maybe we do want to break, but first we're going to come down and reload and take everybody else out. I could see a really, if we really started to sell off and we did not find buyers where I'm looking, into the 80s, 75s down here and start to push back up, at least back, through VWAP back to the 6500s to generate a nice winning trade, or maybe even back up to the highs, we start to, really get through this area of high volume, come down to like the 70s and not find buyers, it could get really ugly. It's not my first play. Obviously, I'm not trading for that. I'm not short up here with a stop above all-time highs, which could be a play. I think it's just really counter overall. But, there is a stack of orders down at the 64.37.5. Where is that? Way down here. Way down here. Scroll out a little bit more, a little bit more of this volume load. Yeah, right? Like if we came outside of this, what's the next area that I think we move to quickly? All the way down here. All the way down here. But I don't see that happening. Looks like we want to push back up here, and my discretionary level is going to hold. We're not going to take out the 80s, and that's going to be the move for the day. Damn. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get VWAP to reset. I don't know if you guys are aware. On Project X, you got to scroll way, way back out. Ooh. Man, VWAP getting defended again here on ES. Popped right back up to it, sold immediately off. We come through this, man. We could definitely start to find buyers or sellers. This feels like we got a little bit of a decision getting made here. 1030. IB high and low is now set as well. I got enough levels on my chart. I'm not going to throw more crap on my chart, man. I start to overlay price I can't see. IB low is down here, right? Without me marking it. 64.80 and 64.80 and 3/4. IB high is up here. Session high so far. Time put in between the high and low put in between 9:30 and 10:30 a.m. So session's high is up here. 65.08.5. Wow, are we gonna crack this low? Yeah, are we gonna crack this low and come lower, man? This is getting interesting now. It's getting interesting now. Yeah, chat. I don't know about that. I don't know about that for a long. Yeah, here's what I'm framing, guys. I'm gonna tell you right now, because this is my read of the market, and I'm gonna try to stick to it, even if it means I don't get a trade on. One thing that never helps me is just putting a trade on because I want to trade on. I've done that way too many times, and I look back and I go, you put a trade on because you wanted to trade on, and you didn't have what you needed to line up to actually get a solid actual entry. Here's what I'm watching for, right? If we run long from down here, I'm not in, right? If we just run through the highs, it's not a missed trade, but obviously it's a missed movement. I'm just not comfortable throwing a long on down here based on this price movement, anticipating that we break VWAP, break 6500s, and then continue. There's an option for me to get long if we can continue to find buyers down here and push back up. If we keep rejecting, then eventually come through really aggressively, that to me is showing a lot of strength. But so far, this is looking just kind of sketchy, and I think we're going to get a larger movement. I don't want to jump in on this down here. I don't have the area that I needed to get hit down here, this 80s to the 75s, even though I have my zone right here. Didn't get that fill to jump in aggressively long and be holding it already long. If we come lower, I'm going to be waiting. I don't know where we might find buyers here. After this type of fight put up at VWAP, right? Now we have new information. After this type of fight put up at VWAP, and then sellers to take it lower, crack this low right here, and continue down, I'm not going to jump directly in right below this low. That's a lot of downtrend structure. It's a break of initial balance low. I'd be waiting to see what happens down here, and then look to buy strength on the way back in. This would probably be, though, pretty late to the party entry, right? I'd be looking to do something like that. This is just completely rough, right? But, maybe it's way down here. We do something like this, right? And I'm looking for strength on the way back up. Stop loss below the low. That's kind of my setup here. I'm not going to get long on it back up towards the 6,500s because I think we could pull a really frustrating move, which is pull back up, tap the 6,500s, fake everybody out one more time, and then come lower. You want to get short on this from down here? I think that could be a play. As well. So I'm waiting for this movement. Really now that we put this type of fight up, I don't know if we're going to have to come lower and fill some serious liquidity all the way down here, run all the way down, grab prior day low, grab overnight low, and then potentially start to turn. I'd be looking for a long on the way back up for something like this. Along here, we just do exactly what we're doing right now, and we just do this. It's not a terrible play. It is sellers putting up a fight and then failing and then coming long back through VWAP. I don't have a good way to structure risk on this, which is really what would keep me out. I think a play back to the 6,500s from here is definitely in store. If you want something, right here, right now, back towards the 6,500s, pretty key level. We got liquidity up there. Even if we're going to move lower, I think we take that out first. But I'm not going to trade for that. So if we just blast off from here, I'm out. I'm not in, obviously, but not a super strong CVD on this. Yeah, there's levels up there, but I'm not finding my way into this here. So that's my play. I'm cautious now that we move lower. Again, we come back up, break VWAP, start to push here. Definitely a long play right here. It's setting up. But I'm not going to take this. I don't have a good way to structure risk. I don't want to stop loss right here below session low. I just don't. I think that's a terrible spot to put it. And it would require me to place a really, really wide stop, way too wide. And I'd be cautious at 6,500s. So that's my thought. Not going to take a continuation on the way back up here either. So a long way of me saying I'm going to wait patiently. Probably going to get something into the middle of the day, afternoon. If I do, I'll try to call it out for you guys in Discord. Again, got really close to my setup down here. We marked this zone. Somebody asked me. I told them to rewind. Now that we got a little bit more time, we're not setting up. Marked this zone here, right? Really, really decently key level. If I just look at this area, it's an area of high volume, right? Really key area, level of high volume. Coming off of market structure, right? Simple market structure, highs and lows, tops and bottoms, right? Below VWAP, but above overnight low and prior day low. Worked beautifully to find buyers today. What kept me out of getting long on a test of that level and then even some strength after was this. Just giving you guys the session review so far. Was this bad boy right here. This nice level of liquidity that's been on even before market open. Key level, we start to sell off down towards that. I front run them if I'm trading towards it. But if I'm looking too long, I'm waiting for that to get filled. CVD dropping off heavy, getting long right in front of that to me gets me smoked on another day. Absolutely smoked. Wouldn't have needed to wait for the 75s, but at least for this to get taken. And then some strength afterwards, right? On another day, we fill this, and I'm in long on a pop. I'm in long on a pop back up. But not today. Not today. Didn't get what I needed on the chart to happen. And not jumping in, as unfortunate as it can be, because now I'm watching the market rally, 16 points from that level. I got to apply some consistency. Got to stay patient. Got to wait for what I need on the chart to line up. And there's been a lot of close ones this week, and even the last couple months. I've had a number of things get really, really close to lining up and then move. Not enough to really adjust anything in some crazy way as far as what I'm doing on the chart and actually executing. But it can tempt you. It can tempt you to chase. It can tempt you to just completely do something opposite of what you're supposed to be doing. But all I know how to do is stay patient, wait for those setups to come. And this way, if I have to take an L, I go, great. Here's my deal, right? Come in here, right? Let's say on another day, I jump in long here. I go, oh man, we got really close, almost. I jump in long here with my stop loss right here. I get stopped, and then we run. It's enough for me to want to jump off a bridge, right? I have to. Then my journal entry has to go. You chased the trade. You FOMO'd in. You had exactly what you needed on your chart, what you were waiting for, right? You jumped in before it happened. It happened, and then it continued in your direction, right? Even if it sells off through here and I take an L, it's a bad trade. But either way, it's a bad trade. If I jump in here and I take the win, it's reinforcing a bad habit. It's just allowing myself too much flexibility. So again, I allow a lot of discretion in my trading. As I start to wait for an entry, right? I'm lining up what I need, my entry criteria, what I need to see on the chart happen. And again, could be specific to you in a number of different tools. Maybe you're trading a moving average crossover, you're using RSI, you're using, divergences between US indices or, alignment. Whatever you identify that you're going to wait for, probably want to wait for that to happen. If you wait for it to get close, then that's your approach. You wait for it to get close, right? That's your setup. So close today, but no entry. So I don't see really one setting up. I think we're probably going to start to move at some point today. But it's going to be maybe a call out in Discord for you guys. Maybe a call out in Discord. So mapped out what I'm looking for, pulling back down lower, and then some kind of reversion. We just take off from here, slow grind to the upside after sweeping lows, and then coming back through VWAP. I'm not in it. I'm just not in it. Not my trade. Let's see. VWAP, VMA, RSI, horizontal volume profile. Market makers everywhere, tapped into every system, every chat. Kev P just took Isaac's level 1 long. We shall see. Nice. So we got Kev P getting long. Yeah, man. Very similar. Like, where is Kev? Where is 200-day moving average on the 1-minute chart right now? Actually, I bet I could see it. Well, you let me know. Kev, because that's the trade, right? It's a crossover of the 200 period moving average on the 1-minute chart to the upside. I think this could be a good trade, right? It's a different structure. You're looking for something, a much smaller movement back towards the 6,500s. I think that could be beautiful. It's usually, a lot of times on the 1-minute chart, it's very close to VWAP. Very close to VWAP. So, yeah, man, let's see. Pushing the upside, sellers couldn't take it lower. Again, breaking and testing above VWAP. I'm not taking a long here. It's just not. It's not my trade. It's not my setup. The way that I'm trading ES with a wide stop and wide target. 64.95 and 3/4. Nice. Okay. Yeah, it was a little bit above VWAP today. 200 SMA. Yeah, there you go. Morning, Omega. Nice. Yeah. Hope it goes. Hope it rips for you, my brother. Closed above 200 SMA and price higher on SMA. All high time for. Yeah. Hell yeah. I like it. A lot of people playing liquidity tax today. What are your settings for VWAP? This is standard settings. This is just a standard VWAP indicator. Wachira FX who asked. Standard stuff. Just the color is different. Standard setting indicator from the indicators tab. There you go. What was this, gentleman? Kev? Got long on this one. Let's see it for you, man. Trader Julie Kate, what's up? What's going on? Aloha Trade, MNQ and Y, MYM. Your reminders while trading really helped me. Psychology. Yeah, absolutely. Zach, thank you so much for your encouragement, putting up guardrails. I'm getting 2 payouts I just submitted. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, there we go. We were talking about, and that's on you. It's all on you, right? It's on you guys. We were talking a lot about controlling tilt, and you know, I take a hard stance, right, on traders that are on Project X. I'll give the rant and what we ranted about, and maybe that we got some help on this one. Congratulations, W's in the chat for more payouts. That's beautiful. Put up some guardrails. Put up some guardrails in your trading. We have tools available here on Project X. They are risk parameters. Hop on my YouTube and watch the tutorial on setting them. But set a personal daily loss limit. Here's the preface. Because I don't have them set right here. If you struggle with tilt in any degree or sense of the word, if you struggle with overtrading and specifically exceeding your personal daily loss limit and personal daily profit target, go ahead and set the personal daily loss limit and personal daily profit target in Project X, set it to liquidate and lock you out, and lock it out every single morning. You have no excuse. You have zero argument that you can make in a logical way to me that would prevent you from doing that. If you don't want to be locked out and liquidated at that whatever level you're thinking, set it wider. If you don't set it at all and you struggle with tilt to any degree and you can't stop yourself, you are allowing yourself to lose the entire account consciously. You are making that decision, okay? So many traders have an approach that works. They have strategy that's helping them. Everything's good, and then what happens? They take a couple losses, and they have one bad day where they blow up or they exceed whatever their set limit is. If it's 500, set it to 500. It's 1,000, it's 2,000, whatever the number is, right? You have no reason not to do that if you struggle in any way, which so many traders do, okay? I wish I had that parameter growing up on these charts and exceeding a personal daily loss limit, right? It's not the end-all, be-all, because you're probably going to come into a live account and you're going to have the discipline to stop yourself, right? And you know, act like a professional. But it's a guardrail. Use the guardrail, right? Get your ego out of the way. Like there's so many analogies, but the guardrail one is great. It's like if you were at a bowling alley and someone said, if you can throw this bowling ball down the bowling alley and hit one pin, knock over one pin, I'll give you $3,000, and you can use the guardrails, and you keep going, nah, I don't need to use the guardrails, and you knock down one pin, you knock down 2 pins, and then you hit the guardrail, you hit the gutter, and it's like, use the guardrails, you know? I've heard, the only argument that I've heard that is even makes close to a little bit of sense is it can kick you out early, it can take you out of the trade early. Fine. Widen out by $10 or $15 or $20 or $50 if you have to. So if you want to be, stopped at 1,000, but you don't want to risk being taken out at like 990 something, set it at 1,050. Okay. But that is a lifesaver, and there is a demonstration of it. I'm so happy to hear it. So happy to hear it. And while it doesn't build the discipline for you, it will show you the correct habit, right? Of stopping yourself, having just a down day, a small red day, the tough thing that we all don't want to do, which is stop trading after we've taken a couple losses and not end green. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And you can say, wow, look at what I can do if I just don't blow up. So, that's the thought. Nice. Scott saying, signals is waiting for crosses, relative RSI, old system adapted. Very nice. Rant away, please. There it is. Set the personal daily loss limit. Guys, listen, if you get nothing else, I talk a lot about a lot of different things, and I think they're valuable, okay? If you are struggling with tilt, you keep blowing accounts, right? or you exceed the amount of loss that you would like to have on any given day, set the personal daily loss limit in Project X, set it to liquidate and lock you out, and lock that out every single morning before you start trading. Set an alarm on your phone to lock it out so you can't go back in once you're on tilt and change it. Plot twist. Crazy, right? That's probably going to make you help yourself work towards payouts, or at least help you from blowing up and you survive long enough to see what's not working. I'm not saying that that's all you need, but there we go, guys. If you take nothing else, please just do that, okay? If you don't have them on, your chart, you better be accepting that you are standing to blow the entire account, or you better be extremely confident in your ability to manage risk to the downside, the way that I am in these straight to sim funded pros, before someone says you don't have it set on these accounts right here, that I've been trading, I think, for like 30 something or 40 something trading days, really not terribly impressively outside of holding on to them. But my largest red day is a couple dollars, my personal daily loss limit, above what I would like to have hit for that personal day, okay? Because these have an equity stability score, and if you have a really bad red day, even if you don't blow the account, you still push out the consistency. So just drop the ego, man. You don't have to do that. I've locked myself out live plenty of times with you guys here as well. Lock yourself out. So anyway, I hope this helps. It can be frustrating, but like I've talked to traders that continue to blow up and don't use the risk management tool. Like it's mind-boggling to me. The guardrail is there. Use the effing guardrail, guys. Like it's so, they gave you the sauce. They gave you the tool. Use it, you know? That is in favor of the trader. You know, use that. Use the personal daily loss limit. If not, accept the full account loss, you know, which you can do if that's your style and you want all of that risk on. Go for it. Do your thing. But you should probably 99, you know, let's say maybe not 99. Let's say 8 out of 10 traders should have that set. Anyway, hope that helps. Happy that helped maybe somewhere along the line. Awesome to hear. Really awesome to hear. Still get my wombs from Friday. Broke every rule and paid for it. Yeah. Changed the loss limit on Project X. There we go. And lost more than the initial personal daily loss limit. There you go. Yep. Again, I would set the personal daily loss limit and then lock it every day so you can't go back in and change it on every single account. That's the way around that. If anything, I undertrade. Yeah, there you go. Still need to figure out trailing stop on Project X. That's interesting. That's interesting. Scott's trading bigger on his live account than on the prop accounts. They might mean something more to you for some reason. Watching this market get above VWAP, slowly start to grind higher. Crazy. ES building the pseudo uptrend. Yeah, I struggle with tilt and blow accounts. Yep, started selling the personal daily loss limit the night before, so I couldn't change my mind. Yep, during the NYSE session. Thank you, Zach, for the tough. Yeah. Locked myself out for 60 days straight. For some ungodly reason, last Friday, the F it moment came, and instead of walking away 4 to 5% on the green, I lost 50%. Yep. Use the tools, guys. That's what all I could say is use the tools. I think they will help you build the correct habits that are so difficult to build, right? You know, it's the same when it comes to like trade management. A lot of traders struggle to hold wins. They struggle to hold losses. They struggle to not just do anything crazy. You know, and a lot of traders talk about walking away as the trade's on, setting your take profit, setting your stop loss, walking away, and just allowing the trade to play out, right? That might not be the best trade management for your approach, your style overall, but what you'll see happens is you don't cut all your winners short and they make it to a take profit. You don't stop at break even. You don't, maybe move your stop loss, you add into a loss, and your stop is controlled. Your risk is controlled. And you watch that play out over time, and you kind of continue to have this realization put in front of your face where, if I just do this basic stuff and don't blow up on my red days or mismanage every one of my trades, I start to actually make some progress here. So again, I will I will grain of salt it with. It's not the end all be all. It's not all you need, right? You want to be able to transition to a live account at a certain point, or maybe a platform that doesn't have risk parameters, right? You're going to have some discipline at some point. But that can absolutely help on the front end. There's no reason not to use it. Here we are back at the 6,500s, guys. This market is nothing insane, but didn't give me what I needed. So a little bit frustrating for me, but it is what it is. Funny story. Yeah, guardrail set, max profit, max loss. Never let myself hit that since. Nice. ES grinding up, YM grinding down. Wow. Yep. YM continuing to put lows in. Insane. Recovery out of ES, huge recovery out of NASDAQ, all the way back up near session highs. Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna stay patient on this, guys. I framed what I'd like to see, potential pullback for a long. At this point, it looks like the slow grind to the upside, maybe just taking off from here, and that this is all we needed to do today. We grew on CVD, the 6,500s right up here, right where we're tapping. Going to be an interesting spot to watch. We start to get above this and really push. That would be interesting. I think we could reject here really harshly and have a gnarly sell-off. But I'm just probably not going to do much until we get a little bit more structure and information on the chart. Had something close near the open, but at this point, I'm just going to sit patient. I don't have a clean setup for me personally, so I'm happy to take risk off the line rather than just get cooked this week. That's my play. But good conversation, really good conversation. Could be why Mr. Break Even. Yeah, you got to give yourself enough room to work, right? You have to take risk on. You have to trade. And some people can be very, very risk averse. I find myself in that group, honestly, more conservative, more risk averse, but I find that to be the minority. I find most traders are blowing up on tilt and doing crazy stuff and over leveraging and over trading. Vast majority. Check myself, or just lose discipline at a certain point. Dwayne says, check myself out on trades by trailing stop too close. Have ordered best loser wins and hopes that helps him with that. Yeah. If that's what you're doing now and you're acknowledging that, Dwayne, I think a really good starting point would be to take yourself out of the equation. Stop doing that. Just set and forget. Again, you take on a little bit of additional risk on gotta be a little cautious doing that in live accounts. But I would, prop accounts, you're risking the account, which you don't want to do either. But set a trading view alert maybe when you're supposed to get stopped out, you're supposed to get your take profit hit, and then come back on and make sure that you are indeed closed out of that trade and that nothing else crazy happened. But take yourself out and then watch what happens, right? And adjust from there. If you're struggling with trade management, that's my 2 cents. So it works for me. Which trading view had ATM orders? I execute on NinjaTrader with their custom ATM orders, but chart on TradingView. Yeah. TradingView does not have all of the automated trade management that we would like. Neither does Project X. ES and NQ chart looking the same. Wait for the trend to break. Kept trying to learn NinjaTrader. Nice. NinjaTrader desktop is pretty confusing, to be honest. Not a huge fan. Yeah, I don't trade on NinjaTrader. I'm gonna go no trade on this one, guys. I'm gonna go no trade on this. Really close to a nice long that would have just been grinding higher right now, but not what I need to get in. So if nothing else, here I am again displaying patience to wait for my entry to set up. Frustrating a little bit to watch this one get really close to what I needed to see. Good read off of the open. And again, my only area for improvement on a day like today is to note how many times something like this happens, right? Do I want to allow myself more discretion to do something different? Do I not want to wait as long as I waited today for a specific key area of liquidity get hit right around a discretionary level before I jump in long? Do I want to take a continuation through VWAP? That just comes from reviewing the week. I've reviewed the trades that I've taken, how they played out, maybe what I could have done better, done or not done. And then I also just go day by day and look, what happened, right? A lot of the guys from Tampa were talking about, I can't remember, I think it was Tanner, journal the easy money trade, right? Where was your setup? Something super easy that you could read, and how does that repeat itself? And I try to do that, right? So for today, I take a look and say, oh, you were looking long on this, you wanted to find your way in. Here's what this was looking like on Bookmap, and if that repeats itself, maybe there's an adjustment. But for today, can't say anything other than waited for what I needed on the chart to happen, didn't get it, market moved, and I'm not in. That's it. But appreciate you guys. Real quick, I don't think I yapped about this at all. Real quick, top 1 futures. This ends on Sunday. A couple days left on this. Top 1 futures. Not only are they still 50% off with code RDF, which I will throw in the... Ooh, I didn't even read your guys on Kick. Sorry, guys. Are you able to take the daily loss limit off... Take off the loss limit the day of trading whenever you want. You are, unless you lock it. Yeah, Enzo answered that correctly. You can adjust it for each new trading day. Yep, you can lock it so you can't change it mid-trading sessions, which is what we're talking about, lock it up every day. But guys, top 1 futures, 50% off, code RDF, and an entry to win one of 40, 25K instant funded accounts. You want to check it out. Link is getting thrown in the chat right now. Appreciate you guys for hopping on. I got a busy day. I'm getting ready. I'm traveling tomorrow, which is going to be pretty fun. So I don't know that I'm going to call anything out. But if I do see something crazy, I'll try to keep you guys updated in Discord. Outside of that, trade safe today, guys. Remember, quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. Do your own research, make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in a funded prop firm account. And the affiliate and partner disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like the one that I'm showing you right here, Top 1 Futures, code RDF, Bookmap, and others. Can't be unbiased. If I stand to make money, do your own research, make your own decisions. Talk to you guys soon. See what this market's got for us the rest of the day. Trade well, my friends. Trade well. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. Talk to you guys soon.